So contrast that with Trump, who gets up there. It actually was kind of funny. He was a little obsessed with the fact that there was a teleprompter, but they told him he couldn't use it.
Why?
I don't know. I guess he really didn't want to have to read his speech old school.
Oh.
But I think they did him a favor because they let Jim Gaffigan use the teleprompter.
Mm-hmm.
He was the MC. And it seemed to fail on him more than once. And you could see him kind of like deftly, but stutter his way through a couple of bits as it stalled and then tried to recover. So I'm wondering if just it was either tradition or whether they knew the prompter wasn't that steady and they wanted to spare Trump from having to deal with that. I don't know what the answer is. Anyway, it was funny to me and Doug that like he kept going back to it. He said, "Now they told me I couldn't use the teleprompter. Now I get here. There's a beautiful teleprompter. It's
the
so
best
beautiful.
teleprompter.
I guess only you can use it."
Yeah.
So he gets up there and hits everybody. I mean, it was like machine gun fire. He just hit everybody in the room, but in a very funny way. And himself talked about like the indictments, all of that. Did not mention Tish James, I think. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember whether he did that. But here's a sampling of how it went for him.
It's a true pleasure to be with you this evening. Amazing pleasure. And these days, it's really a pleasure anywhere in New York without a subpoena for my appearance. But if you really wanted Vice President Harris to accept your invitation, I guess you should have told her the funds were going to bail out the looters and rioters in Minneapolis, and she would have been here, guaranteed she would have been here. Guaranteed. There's a group called White Dudes for Harris. Have you seen this? But I'm not worried about them at all because their wives and their wives' lovers are all voting for me.
That's great.
Campaigning can take a toll on a family and family life, although I hear that Kamala and her husband carve out some really beautiful alone time at the end of the day for an intimate dinner, just Doug, her, and a teleprompter that she uses quite well. Tradition holds that I'm supposed to tell a few self-deprecating jokes this evening. So here it goes. Nope, I've got nothing. I guess I just don't see the point of taking shots at myself when other people have been shooting at me for a hell of a long time and they shoot at. But unfortunately, Governor Walz isn't here himself, but don't worry, he'll say that he was. He's going to say he was.
That's my favorite.
That's great.
I used to think the Democrats were crazy for saying that men have periods, but then I met Tim Walz. The stupid show, The View, is so bad now that the other day I was watching it and thinking to myself, you know what? They really need to bring Rosie O'Donnell back.
Oh, God. No, that's desperate.
That's great.
Isn't
That's
that good?
so funny.
And even the joke about like you're supposed to say something self-deprecating. So here goes, I got nothing. Is him being self-deprecating? Like he's making fun of himself.
Self-awareness,
Yeah.
right? Because I am notoriously depicted as very thin-skinned.
Right. And I'm a braggart. So
And
why
I'm a
would I do
braggart.
such a thing?
And it's amazing to watch Michael Bloomberg, former mayor, sit there with a stone face.
Yes.
Just completely will not be charmed by this whatsoever.
Right.
No matter what you think of Trump, he was charming
Yeah.
in that little bit he did. And that goes a long way. Relatedly, so I was at my doctor yesterday, and these are people I have known for like 15 years. I'm wearing a red baseball cap. One of the doctors says, I saw you from behind, and I thought, oh my God, is she wearing a MAGA cap? Oh. And I was thinking to myself, well, what if I was?
So what?
Right?
Right.
Do you think differently of me now? Like, I'm not wearing a MAGA cap, but that doesn't mean you know what's going on inside of my head.
It makes you want to wear one.
You know, it kind of makes you want to just be like, you know, and it was a moment where I thought, there are so many people in this race as it comes to its inevitable, thankful close, who are considering Donald Trump in ways they thought they never would. Mm-hmm. And I think there is going to be such a silent turnout for him. I really think he's going to win.
Do you?
I do. Do you?
I'm getting worried.
Tell me why.
Because I've reached out to a lot of people who I know and said, how's it looking? How's it looking? How's it looking? And they just keep giving me back the same feedback, 50-50, 50-50, 50-50, you know? So I think that's real. I think that you'd rather be Trump. They also say I'd rather be Trump than Kamala. Like the momentum seems to be with Trump, and he's closing strong, and he has a tendency to do that. And he doesn't have the baggage around him this time around COVID and lockdowns and all that he did going into the last one. But it's tight, Maureen. It's very, very tight. And I think it could very well be a real nail biter on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Right?
No, agreed. I wonder if we'll even know that night, you know?
I know.
I really do. And it's so, for people like us who live for this stuff and marinate in the news, it's really exhilarating. And then just as a person and someone who loves this country, it's frightening and terrifying.
It's such a fork, you know? It's not like, I don't know, even like Romney, Obama. There were big differences, policy speaking. But it didn't feel, you know, I don't want to say existential. I don't think this is existential for the country. I know many people do. It didn't feel this huge. You know, the gulf, the delta between the two of them just did not feel quite this enormous.
Yeah.
I mean, we are about to go on one of two paths, and it's almost just diametrically opposed, depending on how this goes. And not only that, the whole Senate, House, and White House could both go either way.
Right.
You know, I know what the odds
right.
are, but I'm just saying it is potential that one party or the other could emerge with full control, which is just like terrifying in some ways.
100%.
So yeah, I actually woke up the past few nights at 3 a.m. I'm like, am I becoming one of those lunatics whose life gets overwhelmed with politics? I've never been that person. It's just, my team reminded me, they're like, no, it's that you're overwhelmed with the amount of news that we're trying to stuff into the show every day and don't get to. Now, I still have more to say, and there's crazy stories, and there's fact checks that we need to do. There's just too much shit being thrown at us, and I feel like we've got to keep it straight. You know, the other side has upped its level of lies, and we have to respond accordingly.
Yes. And it's also, I think, everybody's running on this level of cortisol and adrenaline. And it's just, I feel the same way. I mean, I have nights where it's difficult to sleep. And I'm not even sure what it is that's keeping me awake. But it's this constant bombardment, and it's this constant feeling that this election does feel different, even though every election since Obama has been the most consequential ever. I find it fascinating, by the way, that our favorite multimillionaires, the Obamas, who are all about democracy and the future of this country, have been very quiet when it comes to Kamala.
Health has been a big topic around the country over the past few weeks. And one thing we don't talk about enough is how exercise plays a vital role in that. And it's not just cardio. We really need to look at strength training. More muscle helps to boost metabolism and helps as we age. But let's face it, many are intimidated when it comes to lifting weights at a gym, not to mention the fact that we are all busy and we don't necessarily have the time. This is where Jacked Up Fitness comes in. They bring the gym to you, a full machine that fits in your house and does it all. It's an all-in-one home gym. It allows you to do multiple strength training exercises. And best of all, it comes with access to their app, which includes multiple workouts where you just push play and follow along. Jacked Up Fitness is an American company, and they are giving 900 machines this year to the Wounded Warrior Project. So if you're looking to take charge of your health and help veterans on their road to recovery, order your home gym today at getjackedup.com and enter code MK for a 10% discount on your own home gym. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.